Alright, how's it going? So, as some of you may know, Simply is newly acquired by Panda. He is one of the best Super Mario 64 speedrunners in the world. My tag is iBDW. If you don't know me, I play Super Smash Bros. Melee competitively, one of Panda's Melee players along with Plup. And Panda asked me to go over his money match with Ludwig. I'm sure you know who Ludwig is. I don't know much about Simply as a Melee player.
GG gamer.
So I'm sure he's an exemplary Melee player, but the point of this is to give you guys give all of you some introductory Melee tips, maybe help your game out a little bit. If you like this type of stuff, please consider subscribing to their channel. I'm sure it should be right down below the opposite side of me, not this side of me. It'd mean a lot to them, it'd help out, and hopefully all of you get something constructive from this. So we're gonna start. This should be Marth Puff. Pretty common matchup in top 8. You see a lot of Zane versus HBox. And that's an interesting starting choice. So they start Final Destination. So first off, I don't see a universe where this isn't one of Puff's 2 worst stages in the matchup, so I'm surprised Ludwig started here. He goes for this up tilt, right? Puff, you don't combo too hard. This is a pretty basic line of thinking you're going to want to implement when you're playing a character. Puff, you don't combo her very hard. It's more sharking, it's more positional advantage. You can combo her off a grab. I'm sure we'll see that at some point. But as far as aerials go, you can kind of combo her, but it's not that great. Puff also has this great mechanic called Rest, where if she hits you with it, you're basically dead, no matter what. Obviously, you can live it sometimes, but pretty risky. So, pretty risky to throw out something like this, where you're not going to really get much from it. And if it misses, if he crouches, if he reacts properly, you can just straight up die for this. So fundamentally, wouldn't recommend it, especially if he's not super far above you. He's already kind of coming down. It's pretty risky to do, but doesn't get punished for it. Crouching Puff, Crouching Puff's one of the scariest things in the game. They can crouch cancel grab you. They can power shield rush you, which I doubt Ludwig will do, but maybe he'll surprise me. Don't really be this close to a Crouching Puff ever, unless you have a specific way in mind to punish it. It's just not going to end well. So this, in general, is pretty solid game plan, walling Puff out. Again, Puff, a very dangerous character. If she opens you up, she can, in a lot of ways, just kill you. This is just basic recognition. You have to grab here. Puff, dash attack your shield. That's just a free grab, no matter who you are. Get the grab, pivot up throw. Another basic little concept here. He gets a throw on Puff. If you F-smash here, the combo's over. There's nothing you can do. You can Shark Puff, but there's nothing true. And so, you're not going to get kill off F-smash literally ever, unless Puff DIs out, you pivot tip her, and she has the worst DI ever, and then also doesn't try to DI it, or recover, or do anything. Like, he basically has to put the controller down. And so you want to go for a combo instead. You have a pseudo chain grab on Puff, depending on if you can mix up their DI. I don't want to go into it specifically. But just know it exists. You can mix up their DI. If they DI out, you down throw. If they DI in, you F throw. So forth. Go for an aerial here, go for an extended combo. You're not going to kill Puff here, so get percent, get positioning. This just kind of ends the combo preemptively, and you don't get anything out of it besides a little percent. Basic sharking principle. This is called sharking when someone's above you and you're trying to hit them with an aerial. If someone's above you, you want to choose the most vertical hitbox you have if they're directly above you. In this case, that's Marth's up air. It's important to notice that Marth's up air is also not going to hit here, and so it's okay to jump, come up there, realize that nothing's going to happen, and then just come back down. Instead of throwing out a hitbox, maybe she does something afterwards, which if you notice, if he didn't do any hitbox, he might have been able to react, drift in, and get a forward air. But because he did the up air, he did the forward air preemptively, he was not actionable and couldn't actually punish anything here. When you're sharking, it's important to choose both the correct hitbox and recognize if you're not going to get anything, just back off, reset the situation. I talked about risky moves earlier with the up tilt. This F smash is a lot better if you're going to go for a risk, because if you get it at this percent, you can easily catch Puff with bad DI, especially if you get her drift in, drift out. So Puff drifts in with back air and drifts out to escape, right? It's pretty standard. You can see here, he drifts in for the back air, and then he drifts out. So if Puff holds out, she's going to be DIing away. So what happens if you tipper her and she's holding away? She has bad DI, and at this percent, 62, she probably just dies off the side immediately. So that's a much better risk to take. There's something clear that you can get out of the risk. It's likely. S-Smash is a gigantic hitbox, so it's not the easiest thing to punish. It looks like he might get punished here. No, he doesn't. But that's a much better risk to take, especially given the percent. I was going to stop to explain when rollout happens. You can simply sit there. You can react with like anything. You can sit and shield. And you don't really need to wave dash back, which I'm assuming is what simply meant to do. But that was probably the worst thing he could have done, because it gave him... It gave Ludwig the only possibility of punishing it, which is if he misses his wave dash and gets hit. And so right here, I talked about how the up tilt was a bad risk earlier, because it wouldn't get him anything, but strong up tilt will actually kill Puff here, and so percent's really important. If he does a strong up tilt here, as opposed to when he did it earlier, there's an actual possibility that he just gets a kill off of it, like he gets a stock. So now that up tilt becomes a much better risk than when he did it at 20%, and he really wouldn't have gotten anything off of it anyways. Remember what I talked about with Simply also. He likes to come down with aerials, so he likes to protect himself. Ludwig knows that, and so he just runs it with a back air, and now he's going to get wall of pained. He lost his jump, I'm pretty sure, so he's just dead anyways. You can see right here, that little ring that popped up. That means someone double jumped in melee, for those of you who don't know. So you can tell that he lost his jump there, and once he got hit here, he was just dead. I don't think Ludwig realized that, but it's okay. It worked out anyways. Yeah, he definitely could have gotten a rest there somewhere. And then he rolls out again, and just wait. You can shield. You can even light shield if you want. If you don't want to try to contest it, you can just chill there. But don't try to do that. That is unfortunate. All right, rough first game, but I have faith that he can pick it up. Double fair, double fair. Does it again. He's going to do it again, except he does down air this time. That was restable. He's very lucky to have not died there. That's just an immediate rest. You're dead. Especially at 25 on Yoshi's. Okay, now he's dead anyways. When you get rested, when you're anticipating getting rested, hold down and towards whatever direction you're going. So like if you're going to the right, hold down and right. If you're going to the left, hold down and left. If you die off the top, you don't get a punish. If you die off the side, you get a punish. S-Smash again. So he's going for a lot of it. It's not like I would see a bunch of these at like Genesis Grands, but again, the S-Smash is not inherently bad risk reward at this percent. Yoshi's has very shallow blast zones on the side. You can die very easily off the side, and so that's fine. Also, just general pattern recognition. If you notice what Simply's doing, he either does fair, fair, so it's like short hop, fair, fair, or then he'll do landing, fair, F smash. So there's... So right there, obviously he's not going to F smash because he's nowhere near him. That killed? Are you serious? I also think I went too far. Yeah, so like you see there, landing, fair, F smash. F smash again, just to try to hit him. 75, he's just sharking for an F smash kill. You see this again, he comes in. Watch this. Fair, fair, fair. Tried to dash back. These down tilts are good. I don't like running in afterwards for that exact reason. But down tilt, keep him spaced out. You have a sword against a character that is a floating ball. Keep him spaced out. So what's Ludwig doing? That back air was kind of pointless. No. Okay, it wasn't that pointless. I think he actually tried... Did he really try to react to that? He was just late on this reaction, but that's actually pretty good that he reacted to that. He tried to react to this tournament winner. He was a little late, and so he couldn't get it. So I take that back. That was actually a pretty good reaction. He just messed up. Okay, so I've seen a few S smash from him. Now that I'm paying attention to him, I'll be able to tell when he's going for them, but it looks like that's his main attempt to kill people at hypersense. Drill. Okay, drill up smash works as Puff. You can just kill Marth there. Drill up smash works. So Puff's nair at low percent can be really scary, and I think he's looking for like a nair up tilt or something, or a nair rest, both of which basically lead to death. Nair up tilt just leads to up tilt rest, so it kills indirectly. This down throw is tricky for the reasoning that you just saw. That was really good by him, actually. So this down throw is tricky because if most people like to DI out to get out of the down throw. I think if you die up at this percent, you're probably safe. But you DI out because you want to get out of the down throw. That's what everyone does. But there's a platform here. Puff has this mechanic where if she jumps over here, and you're stuck on this platform, you force her to tech, she can just reaction tech chase rest you. Ludwig maybe hasn't practiced it, but still punishes properly and does a really good job of jumping around Marth's sword. So if you look at the arc that he took to punish Marth here, and this applies with all characters, he jumps around and then drifts in at the last second. So you can do frame by frame, see how he comes out and then in, and he just gets around Marth's hitbox. That's a really, really good way to edge hog Marth. I think Ludwig actually intuitively does kind of have a sense on Simply's rhythm. I don't think it's in the front of his brain, but I can see that there's some attempt to like play through his rhythm. Also, his recovery has been pretty linear the entire time. Most Marths will jump here to get the ledge because they don't want to be forced to go all the way down here, when in reality that actually might be a better Marth mix-up because you can't do that. And if someone comes out to cover the jump, you can just up B around them immediately. If they cover out the jump and you up B immediately and you're at a high percent, you can just tech on the wall. There's a bunch of reasons to go down a good amount. So right here, Puff's kind of staying here, right? And really important thing to consider with characters, how much distance can they cover? Can Puff cover this on the ground fast without you reacting? I'm sure most of you in chat, if you know Puff, the answer is no, she can't. The best you could do is maybe run up and dash attack you, but you have time to react to that. And with shield. And can she run up grab from this distance? No, definitely not. No chance. That takes way too long. So, what's your best chance of getting in here? Your best chance is holding shield or crouching and then trying to work your way in. Aerials here will accomplish nothing. In fact, the only real good range Puff has is her back air. And where does back air occur? It occurs in the air. So by jumping here, you are giving her the only thing that she could possibly take from this distance to cover this distance. The only thing is jumping. And so recognizing the spacing is really important. Holding shield, trying to wave dash in, especially if you realize she's jumping a lot. Try to like dash in shield or something to take space and try to work your way out of the corner. Bad fair onto a shield. Really basic principle with Marth as well. When you're a Marth player, again, your sword doesn't have a hitbox. Don't go into someone with your attacks unless it's a read on something. Because if they shield or they whiff, they can get a grab. But if you space it, if he's over here and he shields, Puff can't do anything. And that's a lot more important. Spacing is very important, especially when you have a sword and you don't have a hurtbox on your sword. It's a massive disjoint. Disjoint meaning the hitbox, so the area that you can hit with, extends much further than the hurtbox, the area that the part of your character's model that gets hit. So this is a weird concept. He pounds at this direction because Marth is here, right? I don't think this is conscious. I'm pretty sure this is just from seeing, oh, Marth dash dance over and over again, and so he knows that this is going to work. But why does this work? He pounds here, but Marth's super actionable, right? Marth could dash back, Marth could shield, Marth could dash through, Marth could just fair him. So why does this work when he throws out this attack right there? This is what most people do in the game. This is what separates a lot of people from having really good neutral from decent neutral, especially a lot of mid-level players. This is, in a vacuum, bad. Maybe Ludwig knew, and that's very possible. I'm not saying what he did is bad. But in a vacuum, this pound is actually really bad. Because one of the principles of neutral, it's a fundamental principle, I'm sure it applies in Ultimate as well if you're an Ultimate player, is when you throw out an attack. Most attacks either have a time, so you can't decide to do this attack until you're like here, right? Once you're here, you've decided, okay, I'm going to do the attack here. Otherwise, you're just not reacting to the screen because you can't possibly react to something on frame 1. Human reaction time usually about like 15, usually about 15 frames on average, or 1/4 of a second. So, and it can fluctuate, obviously. So why does this work? Even though when he reacted to it, that's exactly where he was, because he dashed back and dashed back in. This is there's a concept of overshooting and undershooting that a lot of people hear, but they don't actually understand. And so I'm going to do my best to explain it at a beginner level, and hopefully it'll make sense. When you do an attack, what's your goal? Your goal is to either hit someone or create space. Those are like the two real things you could do. Hit someone, create space, or I guess threaten, right? Those are 3 things that you could be doing. There's a lot of other things, but I'm just going to do 3 for now. When you're trying to hit someone, because it's the most basic thing, do you think when you're here, you should attack here? Or do you think you should attack somewhere else? Just fundamentally. Do you attack where he's standing now? Or is there another way you're trying to make a decision on where to attack? There's another way. When you're here, you're trying to figure out, okay, he's here. Let's say it takes a 1/6 of a second to get to here. I don't know the actual timing. And then it takes another 1/6 of a second for the pound to come out, right? Where are you going to be after those two 1/6 of a second, so 1/3 of a second, has passed? That's where you want to place your move, not where they are when you decide you're going to do the move. That's the concept of overshooting and undershooting. And sometimes you don't do either. Sometimes you do just attack where they are because you think they're just going to dash hands in place, or they're going to stand in place, or they're looking for something else, and it'll work. But the concept is you want to figure out where to place your attack such that when you place your attack, you're placing it where you anticipate the opponent will be. That's general concept of overshooting and undershooting. There's a lot of more nuance that goes into it that I don't need to go into right now. I have a bunch of lessons on it if you want to watch them, but it's too much to go into now. So this pound worked because he sees Marth dash dancing here, and every Marth loves to dash dance, especially when they're newer or when they're like developing their play still, and because they don't really understand what's going on in a dash dance, because it's hard to. It takes years, and so he knows, okay, just dash dance, dash dance, dash dance. Pound here will work because he's just going to come back, and it does work. What happens if it's a seasoned Marth? I've played a lot of sets versus Hungrybox, and I see Zane do the same thing. If I see Puff coming here, and I see that they're coming in, and I know that Puffs love to pound from this range coming in, I'm just getting out of there. And I'm going to run back in, I'm going to up smash it. Now, what can Puff do in that situation? Okay, Puff's coming in, and she knows that I want to run back and punish it. She overshoots. She goes further in, and she puts her hitbox all the way in here. Similarly, most of you probably heard the meme of dash back grab Marth, right? So, dashing back to the corner, the Fox comes in, does a nair, pretend I'm Fox, does this nair, and a Marth dashes back and grabs in the corner, right? I'm sure you've heard Mango, me, Leffen, all the spaces complain about it. It's just Marth just dash back and grab. But the principle is they're here. Fox sees Marth here. Fox nairs here. Marth dash backs and grab. Right? So he dash back to here and grab. He was here when he started. I attack here. This is perfect Marth grab range. So I expect Marth to do this. So what do? I go here. Right? By the way, people call me a full hopping Fox. I promise you, 30% of my full hops are because I mess up a short hop. First time holding a controller today. And not because I actually mean to full hop. Right? So that's a really simple concept. So instead of attacking where I think they're going to, where they are when I make the decision that I want to nair in, I know they're going to dash back. So I'm predicting, because every Marth likes to do it, that he's going to be here. And so instead of going here and getting grabbed, I go here. Right? And there's more that goes into it than just that. So let's say my first inclination is I want a nair because I think Marth's going to be here, and nair's a really good combo starter on stage, right? But I think about it, I'm like, honestly, I think Marth might want to go to the corner. So what I can do then is instead of nairing, right, instead of doing this nair, I can overshoot a grab, throw him off stage if the computer doesn't mash out like a psychopath, and get a gimp, right? I could try doing that. So you can even change your move choice depending on where they are, which is also why I encourage people to pay attention to what's going on the screen instead of making a decision super early and then sticking to it no matter what. And equally important, I talked about the S-Match at HyperX. So far, there's no new stuff in the game, so I'm going to keep talking about it. Up tilt, good risk there because it's kill potential. The S-Match at HyperX, the reason it's important to be able to figure that out, I told you Nair S also works. He tried it. I think he got the Nair a little too early for it to work. But it's important because if you know what your opponent's game plan is, right? Like, okay, this guy's S-smashing at high%. I'm going to run up and shield. I'm going to do anything I can. Like, you should have a counter ready. Like, the more you play this game, the more situations you see, the likelier it is that you're going to be able to have a counter for any specific situation. And so, you know, okay, he's an S-smasher. I've seen this before. What's the best way to punish it? And a similar way to get better, if that's the case, and again, this is very applicable to Ultimate, I'm sure. It's still, fundamentally, it's a fighter, and I'm sure it applies to other fighters. We talked about this earlier. Crouching Puff's scary, but it's simply, this is really good. Look at that spacing. Can't punish it. Could have reacted to that. He actually did try to react with down air that time. He was just a little slow, but that was really good. I actually am seeing some minor adaptation from Simply. Not minor, like major adaptation, but I don't think he has like all of the game knowledge to make good use of it. But I am seeing like improvement even within the set itself. There are certain things he's starting to do better. He's recognizing what isn't working as much. He still hasn't realized that those dance matches aren't good. See, like, it even hit there, but it didn't do anything. He just got some %. And if he misses, it's just really bad news. And we talked about this earlier. This is so much better. So right here, instead of doing a fair F smash, he goes for another fair. And if he didn't do the F smash here, he could have drifted in and gotten another one. He does the F smash here and he lands with it. But already there's a little bit of like, okay, I did the fair, let's get another fair, and then get an F smash. It's a step in the right direction. Combo them. Don't end the combo early. If you have a combo, go for it. And even if you have a combo and it doesn't kill, if it gets you good positioning and more percent, it's worth it, right? I'd rather take... even, or sometimes it's the other way too. I shouldn't be so cut and dry. Let's say you have a choice between a combo that gives you 40%, but you end up here and they end up here. But you have another combo where you get 30% and you end up here and they end up there. You obviously want to take the 30% because you're in a much more advantageous spot than the 40%, which puts you off stage and they're back on stage, right? So it's not always the case, but right there, there's no reason not to go for a combo. You're pushing them off stage, you're pushing them up, you're taking stage control. There's no reason to end the combo early. And if you're here, but he's off stage, that's still a great spot. There's no reason to not go for it. Why did this hit? Look where Puff is. What? Okay. Anyways, good stuff by Simply. I am seeing some improvement even within the set, which is nice. Even this is a reactionary fair. Instead of just throwing out the aerial immediately, right? He jumps. Uh-oh, he's coming in. I'm not going to throw out the first one. I'm going to throw out the second one and keep him out. And he could have gotten a combo off it. Execution wasn't perfect, but the idea was there. Runs up and grabs. That's going to be a rest. Yep, like I said, you got to be real careful with Puff when you recover on stage like that. And he goes for just the F smash. Go for the punish. You could have took on him into kill percent. And now you're in this really awkward situation where it's basically an even game. Is that going to kill? Oh my god, that almost killed him. That F smash is a lot better on Yoshi's for obvious reasons. And I think for that reason, this might have been a good counter pick for him because he can get that. Like, worst case scenario, right? If you have invincibility and you grab ledge, if he gets on stage, you just get up and rest him, or you get up and fair him, right? At least for Puff. Other characters have different solutions, but just need to hold ledge there. You don't need to do anything special. And then he dives to a tournament winner. Agreed, Simply. Same reaction. It's the first time I've done something like this, so I don't know. It's like where I don't have someone else that I'm talking to. I'm not even streaming right now. And so I wasn't really sure of the direction, so if you have any constructive criticism, please feel free to leave it. If you enjoyed it, let us know. If you didn't, let us know, and why, and how could we do better next time. But hopefully you took something away from it. That's the ultimate goal from this. Hopefully you took something away from this.